Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another 5 Easy Step card. This time we're using some Hero Arts projects. I hope your day's going wonderful. Today we are creating with the Wavy Lines cover plate die. Look how cool this is. Creates an A2 cover plate, and I just love how this looks. So we're going to use this in our background, and then for our greeting we're going to be using the We All Started Here Stampin' Cut set. A lot of different shapes and styles of fonts of greetings in here. We're going to be using this. I'm also going to be doctoring up my background with the embossing folder from Spellbinders called the Polka Dot and Posy duo. I like the polka dots, so we'll be using this. My focal image is going to be using a fancy die from Hero Arts. It's been in their shop for a while, but I just love it. I think the flower in here is just gorgeous. And this one here is called the Large Flower Layering. And then for my home panel, we're just going to break out a circle set. This is a die set from Hero Arts. It's the Infinity Circles. And so we'll be using this too. So everything Hero Arts today. Let's jump in and get started with our focal point. We're going to create a flower. I went ahead and did my die cutting. And we have a light and dark teal, a light green, we have a real soft yellow, and then we have some white cardstock. Okay, we're going to just do some layering, quick and easy layering for this flower. I'm not even going to do any ink blending. We're just going to offset it a little bit, tack that down. We will add the middle piece. And then add a little more glue, and we'll add this fancy little flower center. Just takes the flower to the next level. And then with the leaves, normally I do ink blending on them, but I like the clean look for today's card. I'm just going to tuck the leaves right in here. And that is all there is to my focal point. And of course you could switch out any flower for today's card. We're going to move on to step 2, which is our home panel. I have a piece of vellum. That's where our circle die set will come in. I've chose a die that is a little bit larger than my flower. And I'm going to offset it on my vellum so we have a little bit of a straight line. And I'm going to die cut this out. I'm also going to doctor up my home panel with the embossing folder. Okay, if you don't have a polka dot embossing folder, another option would be to heat emboss with white embossing powder. You could do that. Some polka dots on here, but I'm gonna add a little texture by running this through the polka dot section of this. This is a two section embossing folder. I'm gonna use the polka dots. Okay, so I'll run this through and I'll be right back. And that's all there is to my home panel. I'm going to go ahead and layer my flowers on here. There's lots of layers of cardstock, so I'm not going to add any foam tape, which is a shock. I know, but I think it's thick enough. We're just going to add this here, kind of centering the flower. Now we're going to move along to step number 3 and stamp our greeting with the We All Started Somewhere Stampin' Cut set. I love the Stampin' Cuts because you get the coordinating dies, of course. And I'm gonna make an encouragement card today with a greeting that says things will get better. So let's go ahead and take this. I'm gonna stamp this with my VersaFine Clair ink. We'll go bold with our greeting. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to stamp some hearts here. Let's go ahead and stamp these too. We'll stamp some hearts. I'm going to do 3 sets. I'll probably just use 3 on my card, but I'm not sure if I want to use 2 big ones and 1 small one, or 2 small ones and 1 big one. So I'm going to go ahead and take the coordinating die, and we will cut our greeting out along with the hearts, and I will be right back. That's all there is to my greeting. Let's move along to step number 4 and create our background. So far we've been really easy with our elements, but my background I want to go a little bit more in depth with a pattern. Okay, so that's where my polka dot and Posy duo embossing folder comes in, and also my cover plate, which is again called Wavy Lines. I'm going to bring in a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to die cut out my panel. Okay, so we have to put back our puzzle piece here. It's easier to use the guide. I want my ends to be on the left side, so I flip my packaging around just so I could use it as a guide, and then we can build our background with all of these little elements here. Let's see. Now we're almost whole again. I want to create a pattern on here. So we're going to bring in 2 inks. We have Simon Says Stamps Flax, and then I have Simon Says Stamps Wheat. One's a lighter yellow, golden-y tone yellow, and one's a darker one. Starting off with a lighter ink, which is flax. I'm going to go in this corner and do a little bit of ink blending on here. Actually, maybe I should bring in my grit mat. I'm going to go light, and we'll add some color here. That's our first piece. The second piece, we're going to add the darker color, which is wheat. This next one I'm going to leave white, and then we're going to take the next one. We'll go over it once more with our lighter yellow. And then I'm going to continue with the same pattern. So the next after the lighter yellow will be the darker, the wheat color. And then I'm going to just continue with the pattern. Now this pattern's done. I'm going to go one step further and do a little bit of embossing. And we're going to emboss the lighter yellow and the white areas. So let's go ahead and take these pieces. So now we have color and texture, and we're going to take our cover plate and put it on the front of our card base. And I think the best way to do this is using, actually, the best way to do this is maybe using a white liner sheet. White liner sheets from Spellbinders are double-sided adhesive sheets. You can also use double-sided tape. You could use your tape runner. But I think a full sheet is just easier since we have a full panel for the front of our card base. So I'll just add the adhesive, and then what will make it easier is we just remove the release paper. I'm going to remove it off the bottom corner. Okay, we'll start in the bottom corner, and I'll just place the first piece. We'll tack this down, and then I'll add my second one. And it's really actually fun to do. It's like puzzle piecing, but there's no guesswork because you already have it laid out. But we'll just go ahead and continue. Give it a good press. I do suggest maybe we started in the bottom corner, maybe starting on the top corner, because I do have a little bit of a white border. If I did it on the bottom, I could have just trimmed that off. But I don't think it's that noticeable. Now we're going to take our home panel with our focal image. And then we can take our greeting and then we can place our hearts. I'm going to flip this around and we are going to trim off that extra vellum that's overhanging. Now we're going to move along to our next step, which is, or final step, which is step 5. We are going to bring in my diamond stickles. Have you guys noticed that diamond stickles is my favorite? I love the iridescent tint to this. And we're going to go over the flower centers. And then over the hearts, I'm going to use my glaze and glue. We'll add a little shine to them. I wanted to keep them black because my greeting is such a dark black. I think this is just going to go together. And that will finish my card project for today. It's a fun way to use that cover plate, which is pretty cool. It's called the Wavy Lines cutting die from Hero Arts. It's new to the shop, and I think it's pretty. It'd be really fun to maybe do some stitch detail on here too to create like a quilted pattern. But lots of options with that. Thanks so much for joining me. I wish you a lovely day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.